Hey guys, it's Jacoya of Jacoya Gems. Thank you once again for coming back to my channel to have another live interview from my blog, Survivor Scribe. On tonight, we have featured someone that I've been knowing for a long time, ever since high school. We were in chorus together for 3 years, advanced chorus at that, because we were already music and stuff. We were in chorus together for 3 years at Lane Tech, and so tonight I have Imani, and she's going to speak to us from many aspects of being a mother, of being a wife, her relationship with the Most High. But on tonight, we're also going to allow her to bring a spotlight to her business. Thank you so much for coming on with me today. Imani, you there? Your screen frozen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Let them know where you're from, what side of town you are from, and how we've met, how long we've been knowing each other.
Oh, girl, you put the side of town in there. Hey everybody. So my name is Imani McHenry. I'm from Chicago, the west side of Chicago. I'm a Lane Tech again. I'm a wife, a mother of four, and I'm also a founder and an owner of Infinite Cyber Tech Solutions, which is a cyber tech company focusing on cultivating a cyber digital civilization, right? And so, just trying to educate my people, our people, on what that is, vulnerabilities, and cybersecurity, and what that entails.
So thank you so much once again for coming on to Survivor Squad. So let's just jump right into it. There are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misnomers about being where we're from, Chicago, being from the west side. A lot of people don't know, Tech was a school that you had to apply to. You had to sit and you had to take a test. So it was one of the top schools. How
Right.
was that for you from growing up out west and then transitioning into a school like Lane?
Um. Well, from my aspect, it wasn't different, right? Because even though I was raised on or out west, right, I lived on the north side, and then I lived on the outskirts of Chicago as well, right? So I've always had that diversity when it came to community. So it was a little different because Lane was just culturally outstanding, right? We had some of everybody there that looked different, right? And it was like everybody talked to everybody, you know. Um, Everybody kind of built their own bonds and relationships, especially, freshman year. And so it was just an environment of like, okay, you may be different, right? But I want to know where you're from, or I want to get to know you to find out like your lifestyle, your background, right? And so we just start building our own community. And it was big as heck. So we had no choice but to talk to each other because we was divided by odds and ends. So we only had 4 minutes to get to class. So if I was
And
late, I needed to
that,
talk to you. How do I get to this class?
and that's still one of the craziest things ever. We both have kids in high school, which we'll get into. But when I'm like, there's no reason that you should be late getting to class at the high school that you go to. I went to Lane. And so, speaking of the culture and that aspect, because it was a school that was very rich culturally, how were you raised culturally and religiously in your household?
Right. So we're Christians. And my mother, she instilled in us um that no matter what, right? Um, always pray, right? No matter what the circumstances. If you in your deepest flaw, right? Or your sin, whatever that may be, you know, pray. Talk to God. Ask for that discernment, right? And don't let nobody tell you different because Jesus could bring you out of anything at any time of any situation. Say hello. So I love you too. So these are my kids, everybody. And so that's what it was, right? And so my mother was older, right, than a lot of other people mothers, right? So my foundation was different, right? Because my mother had that old school in her, right? So we still listen to hymns and we listen to gospel music and we listen to gospel rap, and I introduced her to things. She accepted it and she introduced me to things, but it was always stay true to your values, right? Um, she gave me that opportunity to go out and explore, you know, what did Muslims do, what did Hinduism, what is that about, right? But compare it, right? Never stray away from your morals and your values, right? But always, and it's okay to question, because that's how you deepen your faith and your understanding, not just off of, okay, my mother raised me as a Christian, right? And just going off of that. So that's how I was raised.
That's an amazing way to grow up. You know, a lot of times in black households, but in households in general, once you have a certain culture dynamic, a certain thing that the family believes, if you dare question it, if you dare stray away from it, it
Yeah,
can bring so much hell, chaos, and confusion. And so
right,
to hear that you have a mother who, for lack of a better term, allowed, because you know you're going to research and do what it is that you want to. You know,
right,
some things you just would rather not argue with a parent about. So
right,
sometimes I know I've seen personally, being a PK, I've seen people who have had so many questions, whom have
right,
never asked questions due to fear. And so
right.
I definitely commend your mom for that, but you as well. Where did you get that curiosity to say, you know, I want to know what else there is outside of what it is that we say we believe?
Um, I believe when I became old enough to actually start going through my own trials and tribulations, right? As a teenager. So you always hear about God to take you out of anything, and God is there during your deepest fears and whatever you may be going through, right? But after a while you have to question, like, God, why am I going through this? Right? Why am I seeing this? Why does this have to be my testimony? Why are these people, right, that were Christians or that are Christians, that you've been raised around, why have they turned their back on me? As it may seem that way as a teenager, right? Um, why am I no longer involved with these certain relationships, right? That seem, when you were younger, it seemed so close knit, but as you get older and you start to stray away, or as some people may say, become promiscuous, or want to know it all, or whatever the term may be, um, you notice that different people that may have had their hands on you, they take their hands off, right? And so as a teenager, that hurts, right? So I'm like, so God, if you put these people in my life, right, why is this happening? Or if you have something ordained so high for my life, why is this happening so young? Why am I going through this at this age? And I believe that's when I started to question a lot of things during my darkest times as a teenager.
Well, as a teenager, exactly, it'll be a two-part question. Exactly what led up to the shunning from the church, and how did you cope with it?
Um, I don't think it was a necessary. I don't think it was a intentional shunning.
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it was more of a practice or a belief, right? So a lot of people don't understand that when you consistently think something, or if you believe that, okay, um, my child may get pregnant because this girl is pregnant, or if you
Mm-hmm.
believe that, um, you know, everybody young seeing this girl is pregnant or has this baby, right? That this will happen to the younger kids or the younger generation, or maybe the generation your age, right? So unintentionally, people start to move their children out of the way, right? They start to move a little different around you, right? Because of that concept that's in their head. But it's just like, I'm the one with the baby, right? So you can just be a better parent to your child and not really show an example through me, but just being the loving, caring parent and instilling in them the way you want them to be raised, right? Because teenagers gonna do what they want to do, how they want to do it, right? But when you have those parents there, whether it's mistakes or not, you always have that safety net. You always have that mindset of, okay, I wasn't supposed to do that, but that Holy Spirit in you is guiding you into, okay, let's move a little different, right? Let's be a little different. So I think that's when it started with my pregnancy.
Okay, I want to talk about the pregnancy piece because we were pregnant together.
Yes.
We were
Yes.
pregnant together. For those of you who don't know, I was a senior and you were a junior. And as I said in the introduction, we were in advance throughout the duration of
Mhm.
that time. But even before then, I just want the people to know how genuine you have always been. And that you have always marched to the beat of your own drum.
Oh,
Keeping
thank you.
up with the likes of me isn't something that's popular. You know,
But
it's
it's
not
not
something
about
that's,
popularity. It's
it's
not
not.
about popularity. And that's where people get things misconstrued, right? And that's my thing now, pro social behaviors. If we practice those behaviors where we're not thinking about ourselves, right? We're thinking about other people, then community life will be different. Stop. Come here. It's okay. Come here.
It would be totally different. And by you going through the pregnancy in the church, I know from my experience, I can definitely confirm, although your experience doesn't need any validation from me, that the church will literally chew you up and spit you out at your lowest points.
Right.
Um, and most of the times it's not intentional. And I know for me, I got pregnant in two different stages of my life, so it was dealt with differently. But I believe that it can do some justice if the church did some type of ministry for young single mothers, for young single fathers, so
Right.
that we don't feel like we've been cast away, so that we don't feel like we've been thrown away.
Right.
And so how did that affect you mentally and emotionally? Like, did it have pregnancy at all?
It didn't affect me during my pregnancy because I didn't really realize it, right?
Hmm.
And it's really not just even the church. It's people around you in general, right? Everybody is up for the rah-rah, and it could be in sports, it could be in caregiving, it could be in any concept, right? It's like if you're the golden one, yes, we're gonna lay all of our eggs in your basket.
Yes.
But if we don't feel that that golden ticket is being found, right, or if it seems far away, then we're going to retrieve all of those eggs out of that basket and put it in someone else's basket. And that's devastating for a teenager of any age. And it happens so many times. And I don't think that people understand that they do it. right? They unconsciously do these things. You can say hi. Yeah. And so this is Philip.
Hey,
Hey, Philip.
This is this baby we talking about.
Oh my goodness. Me and your mom were pregnant at the same time. Hi. He's so big. Oh my God.
Yes.
And so it's the way that, like you said, it's not just the church, it's people in general. And we know that other kids can also be cruel.
Right.
I went through hell during my pregnancy at Lane.
Right.
Um, and unfortunately, a lot of things ended up affecting my pregnancy. So it's a blessing to hear that, because you were, I believe that since you were not aware, the Most High was shielding you from
Right.
that. By getting pregnant at such a young age, already high risk, and you dealing with your own inward
Right.
workings. And so, or how did your mom and your family react to it, and did it change the dynamics of you guys' relationship at all?
No, if anything, I think it's with any teenager, you're frightened. You're frightened of the unknown. You're frightened of the disappointment, right? But yeah, there may be disappointments, right? But I don't think that there ever was a time that there was a lack of love, right? And so with that love, like you said, I had no choice but to um let me take that back. I had no knowledge of really what was going on around me, because I believe during my pregnancy my mother poured so much love into me, right? That I didn't have the time to pay attention to anybody else that was around me until after the baby came, right? And so, I mean, this lady loved on me so hard. She made sure I had fruit. She made sure I had vegetables. She prayed over me every morning. She rubbed my stomach. She rubbed my back. If my ankles was hurting, she did that too. You know? So it was like my child was born out of love.
And that's beautiful. I'm sitting here having my own flashbacks. Like, yeah, there's nothing like the true, authentic love of a mother that can literally carry you through when you literally at some points feel like, like life as we know it literally is coming to an end, and you're becoming something new, something that is like, didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah.
Now the one thing, okay, because you're a mom now, and for your wife, and so I know that it's very important for us to allow our children to be children.
Right.
The way that I speak with my children is,
I
they're growing up
agree.
in church not for some reason, growing, especially if you're a PK, or if you have a calling on your life, like you said you do. People will place kids on pedestals and forget that we are still kids, that we're
Right.
still humans. And
Close out the
so,
door.
how do you find yourself navigating with Philip, by him being a teenager, by him getting up in age,
Right.
in order to guide him? Because I know you as a father, which is amazing. So I know the way that the parental structure in your household is set up different. But as a mother, how do you guide your son in that area?
So I try I try my best. I've tried my best to always keep him at his age level.
Hmm.
Whatever whatever age level that was, right? So, um if he still was in that time frame where he was supposed to be outside playing, getting dirty, and laughing and cracking jokes, he did that, right? I'm always, and I've always been big on exposure, right? So I exposed him to a lot of things. I kept him active. I kept his mind moving, whether it was camps, whether it was athletics, education, whatever that may look like, he was involved in, you know. And so, whether it was for the long stretch or just to say, okay, I did that.
Mhm.
He can tell you, I played soccer, I played the violin. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
Mhm.
can keep going and going. And so, when he goes around a lot of people, and their teaching dynamics may be a little different, right? Everybody's so surprised at, the child that he was, the teenager that he is, right? And the adult that he's growing into. And it's like he's different, right? And it's like because he's his age, now don't get me wrong, there was probably some negative things that he exposed to as well, right? But I think keeping that open conversation, I've always talked to him. Always. I've always asked him about his feelings. I expressed to him what are those feelings? What do they look like? Right? Teaching him those key words of expressing yourself. How was your day? Not just good or okay. Express yourself. And that goes a long way in conversation. When you're able to express yourself, when you're able to learn what those key words are in life, you can communicate with anybody, right? So it's all about the communication, um, and the dialogue.
I love that open communication can save kids and people in general
Akaya Zuri.
from a lot of trouble. And so by him being able to feel comfortable to
Yeah.
openly communicate with you, and I love the fact that you have
Somebody
had
there.
him in so many things. So I want to ask you this question. And we're going to get into the love of your life. We're going to get into a few things because I believe it's very important, although this interview is centered
Anaya.
around you, that we definitely do highlight the fact that you went from being a teenage mom in high school to now you're a married woman, and we gonna get into that. But having that dynamic, having a child young, have you ever felt as if people are surprised by how well raised he is and how well rounded he is?
Yeah, people are always surprised. First off, we from out west.
Gang, gang.
We from out west. So people like out west, y'all a whole different breed, right? So it depends on who you talking to, right? And so what I tell a lot of people is you can't underestimate anyone, right? And majority of the time, when we start talking about size of town, everybody family probably came from out west,
Yep. And
right?
moved in the South.
And migrated to the south or the north side, right?
Yep.
So that's a little history. We ain't gonna go into all that. but
That's the proud Chicago history.
but you have a lot of people that underestimate you because they talk about the lack of, right? The lack of resources that we may have, right? The lack of opportunities that may be brought to us. But it's just like, where? When you living it, now I had those exposures, I had those opportunities. My mother took full advantage of them and made sure that if it was an after school program, I went to it. My mama used to walk me up and down Cermak 16th. If she didn't care. Y'all see this one right here? Y'all watch her. Nothing should happen to her. She shouldn't be nowhere she ain't supposed to. Right? And if she wasn't getting them vibes, I wasn't going.
Hmm.
I wasn't there. So the only way that I could get there is if I could find a loophole somewhere. Right?
I understand that. I like, I want to go out Friday night. Where you want? It's a youth service. This
Right.
your day to church. Like everybody gonna be there. I want to go to hear the
Right.
Jesus and and have a little fun afterwards. I understand it.
Yes.
That's the hands-on, thorough, loving parenting. So, how did you meet your husband? How long have you guys been together? What's
Right.
some advice that you would give women on transitioning from one role to another? Talk
So,
to me as a wife right now.
right. So, man, I met my husband actually at a youth conference. Right. Yep. Through church. Being at them events. Them events we ain't sometimes didn't want to go to, but then when we got there, they were so much fun. And what people never gonna understand is back in the day, them youth conferences and them youth groups was off the
Man,
chain. Wasn't they?
they was amazing.
And it was just like we had so much fun, and we had the same amount of fun that people was having on the streets because we was there all day. We had lock-ins, we had midnight skating, we had stuff to do for spring break. We had all that stuff to do, but of course we still missed being in the streets with our friends that didn't participate in the youth activities, right? But the only thing was that, especially living in the Lawndale area, we always made it where everybody in the community came to something, right? And so whether it was Sunday after church, we would have groupings and different things like that. Everybody came. But yeah, I met my husband um at a church event, and I would always see him. And from the initial time that I met him, being young, and we was like, well, I probably was like 9, maybe he was 10 or something like that, right? And so I just loved this boy. It was just something about him. He was just authentic. He would give me a hug. He wouldn't do too much. He'd kiss me on the forehead, like, hey girl, something like that. The neighborhood boys. But he never did too much. He never disrespected me. He always made sure I was good. And it was just like, ooh, if I went somewhere, I hope I see him. Right. And he was a delight to be around. Right. And I was like, man, I like him. I really, really like him. And eighth grade came, and he was about to go to college. I was getting ready to graduate from eighth grade, go to Lang, and he was about to graduate, or he had graduated, and I had him writing my eighth grade book. And he was like, whenever you're ready for me, call me, right? And I was like, ooh, he writing my book. He like me. Remember we used to have those
The the
them
the
pages,
the
the
autograph
pages that
book.
you would,
Yep.
yes, the little pages, right? I was like, oh, he like me. He wrote on the page. I wanted him to. And I was like, man, I really like this guy. And full circle, I'm telling you, like it was ordained in the skies above. Like um, a mutual person that we both know had came across somebody that he knew and reconnected us. And I was like, oh man, you know him? He in college. Oh, I got them butterflies again. And I'm like, so, come here, girl. Come here. I said, well, okay, calm down, calm down. It's okay. Come here, Jordan. So I said, I invited him to prom, and at first he didn't know if he could come or not, and then finally he was like, I can come. And it's been history since.
That is a long time. I
Yeah.
don't hear many stories like that
Look at
at all. At
what's
all.
going on
Well,
now.
thank you so much for sharing that with me. So, how did you end up getting into um, technology? Is this something that's always been a passion of yours? Have you seen yourself doing this since a child? How did this come about?
Well, I always was interested in computers. I was fascinated. So, people would get in contact with me. Come sit right here, Anaya. Have a seat. people would get in contact with me and was like, "Oh, I need help doing this," and I'd be like, "Oh, let me see if I can figure it out." Right? Yes. No. Please have a seat. I said, "Well, I'm gonna see if I can fix that for you or do that program." Right? And so I was working at a retail store and I came across this guy and he was fixing these computers and I was just so fascinated what he was doing, right? And he was putting like the security functions together for a telecommunications company. And so I'm like, how did you get involved in this, right? How did you start this? What is your roadmap, right? How did you get this title? And he told me the school he went to. He told me the major that he chose and everything. And I was like, for real? And I had just moved down here to Carbondale. And he was like, yeah. And he told me everybody get in contact with. And I was like, oh man, that's dope. Next couple of days I'm gonna do that. And he's like, yeah. And it's been history since. I started going to school and I was like, oh man, this is interesting, right? What is cybersecurity and what does that entail and what does that pertain fraud prevention? That was something that I wanted to know about. How to protect people identity, right? I didn't really understand. I think it was during that time when there was so many people going through identity theft, right? And I myself had went through that. And I just wanted to be able to prevent that. And it's been history. I think that was what, 2011? Yeah, like yeah, 2011 or 2012. I started using it. Yep. Have a seat.
Well, it's a couple of people in the chat, and some people are going. They come back and rewatch these. So, you guys, just let you know, you can further explain what it is that you offer for small businesses on the security side. Because I know a lot of black-owned small businesses,
Right.
small black-owned businesses, and they could definitely. I know we gonna have a conversation when I'm able to move forward with some things business wise, because I would definitely love for people to patronize your business. So exactly what is it that you offer for businesses?
Yeah, so I'm a consultant in which I just walk small businesses through their risk, right? I assess their risk as a company, let them know their preventative measures, come up with security functions, emergency policies, set those policies in order for them, in order for their business to operate secure. And so, what a lot of businesses have to understand is that cybersecurity isn't 100% proof, right? It's preventative measures that you put in place for your asset, which is your business, right? For your consumers and for yourself, um, to prevent any type of risk from happening.
So
And so it's
I
not just businesses too; it's also end users.
You say it's also end users.
Yeah, yeah, also end users. So that'll be somebody, you and me, anybody. I call us the vulnerable population, right? So senior
Mhm.
citizens, youth, upstarts, teenagers. It's basically explaining how do you use the internet, right? How do you create this digital citizenship? And that's, just showing you how do you post on social media, right? What things should you put on there? Some things you might want to leave out, right? um, and just showing us how to create those security measures on social media so can put a barrier from attacks.
And so what I'm gonna do right now is put down your contact information so people can come back and pull up the live chat. So you could go to your website as well as your social medias. I'm looking for everything right now. Okay, so it's infinite. First of all, wait a minute. What's your Cash App? I want to put that in first.
Ooh, so I don't have a cash app for my business.
PayPal,
So,
anything. Y'all could
so
DM her.
yeah. So 9 times out of 10, it'll be Infinite Cyber Tech Solutions.
Put that down because you have given us of your time and you have shared with us. And sometimes people who follow me will literally randomly send out payments to people after they view these on the playbacks. So I want to definitely make sure that your business is being pubbed, but also that if anyone feels
Sit down.
like to bless you financially, that they can do so. And so it's Infinite Cyber Tech Solutions, guys. I definitely highly recommend looking into securing what it is that you need, which is your assets, like you said, whether it's your business, vulnerable populations. How long have you done this on your own, or have you always started off on your own?
So I've been in the community for about 6 years. And then when COVID hit, right, I was like, man, it's a lot of people that starting businesses, right? That was just like the booming thing. Put out a business, put out a business, put out a business, right? And I'm like, where's the ethics behind it? Where's the security behind it? And it wasn't there. And I heard people telling me that their social medias um had gotten stolen, right? A lot of proprietary information was stolen, and just things like that. Your data, you can
Mm,
lose a lot of consumers just off that.
absolutely.
So, yeah, so my aim was to educate these small businesses on how can I prevent these things from happening to me, right? How can I protect myself? How can I um, decrease these risks? So, just giving everyone an outline of what that looks like, a consulting session, and we'll go over what is your assets because everybody has different assets according to what their business is, right? How many users you may have, how many employees you may have, and just creating a culture of security overall.
Well, that's something that's much needed. So I definitely commend because when I'm looking into jobs and the market, technology is definitely a booming market. And it's something that I'm really not into. I still long hair, a lot of still
Yeah,
long hair, right? A lot of stuff. I just said that's my baby earlier. Like, can you please help me come and hook up the Wi-Fi on the computer? Like, that is sad.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I definitely thank you for taking your time out today. This will be available on the replay. I want to give you a few minutes. Leave us with some words of encouragement, some words of wisdom, whatever it is that you have for us, and I'll make sure to cover your business.
Yeah, so I just want to tell everybody, don't give up. Whatever your dream, whatever your passion, no matter how long ago you had that dream, right? Find a way to water yourself, right? Um, and to allow that dream to um just grow because it's already planted, right? When you had the dream, you just need a little water, and just start growing. Talk to yourself, you know, uh surround yourself around positivity, people that's going to speak life and value into your life. And you do that, for yourself, but you have to start within yourself in order to be able to surround yourself around those people, right? And once you do that, just remember there's always things beyond the sky. The sky's not the limit. So once we start thinking like that and outside of our norms and our beliefs, right? I think we can build a culture that's very dynamic amongst ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those words. I'm gonna use those to continue to encourage myself, and you have definitely been a great encouragement to me. So I definitely appreciate you for the years of you just being who you are, very gracious, very genuine. And I'm thankful to you for that. So with that being said, you guys, this is Jacoya of Jacoya Gems signing off. Thank you so much for viewing this live interview with Imani McHenry on tonight. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Imani. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome, boo. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye.
Bye bye.